All right, and with us in the studio, let's welcome Mike Enahoro. Mike Enahoro is a sports analyst, and Mike, we are glad that you could join us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Nigeria.
And of course, in our Lagos studio, we have Menasara Ilo, FIFA consultant. Welcome to the program, Menasara.
Thank you very much, Kieran.
Thank you very much, Menasara Ilo. We also have with you there in the studio Seyi Akinwumi, who is first Vice President, Nigeria Football Federation. Mr. Akinwumi, pleasure to have you both in our Lagos studios. Benin Network Center, we have been joined by Godwin Dudu Orome, who is chair of the Edo Sports Commission or Council. I'm not quite sure now. Dudu Orome, pleasure to have you with us on the program this morning.
Much.
Kira, let's begin this conversation with our guests in Lagos. In Lagos, let's begin this conversation with our guests in Lagos. Seyi Akinwumi, who is Vice President of NFF, and Menasara Ilo, FIFA consultant. They're all, of course, involved in trying to ensure that Nigeria gets to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's Tournament in 2020. Beginning first with Seyi Akinwumi, what is the status of Nigeria's preparation after the FIFA's team inspection?
Well, we're very happy with what we have done over the past few days in particular. We were able to go around the various sites, training sites and stadia across 4 states. And the feedback we get from them is that they're quite happy with what they saw. We visited hospitals, stadia, training sites, and they were quite happy, gave various suggestions. At the end of it, we were very happy with the enthusiasm shown by the various states and state governments in particular to develop and meet the standards required of FIFA. So we're quite happy with the stage so far. When we came back yesterday, we had a roundup meeting, and we also had a teleconference with Zurich. They seem quite happy. Discussions are ongoing, suggestions. They'll do a wrap-up, get back to us, and we'll take it from there. But at this stage, we're quite happy and comfortable with where we are.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Menasara, give us an idea of the stadia inspected by the FIFA team and the exact status of these stadia. Because when we talk about facilities, of course, you know better than I do what the sporting facilities should be and the standard that already attained by Nigeria in terms of the kind of facilities that we have. And now the 4 states inspected, may we know them and know the status of the stadia and other facilities that may be required during that tournament.
Thank you very much, Kieran. First of all, let me also say I'm the bid coordinator for Nigeria on this project. Now, the process of bidding has several steps. The first step is to indicate interest at the level of the federation at the FIFA forum. And then the second stage is, of course, to make a bid. Now, Nigeria has gone through those 2 stages, and a competent bid was prepared, about over 900 pages long. And that bid was assessed by the bidding and strategy section of FIFA. And it was because Nigeria scaled that hurdle that FIFA felt it was auspicious for them to come and see on the ground what was put on paper. Now, this inspection visit has taken us to 36 different facilities, including 6 stadia, 13 training sites, 12 hotels, 6 hospitals, and so on. And the facilities, to start with, let me be talking in line with your question. The states involved are Lagos, Edo, Delta, and Akwa Ibom. And the cities in particular being Lagos, Benin City, Asaba, and Uyo. Now, in Lagos, we inspected the Onikon Stadium. I believe many people have little idea what Onikon Stadium looks like now. Not the Onikon Stadium of old. It has been remodeled, it has been refashioned, and it is a world-class facility right now. We also visited the Teslim Balogun Stadium, which was one of the host stadia for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in 2009. We visited the Agege Stadium and visited several training sites. Now, one thing to understand is that in these days, you do not host an event and start to bring about what you want to achieve. You first of all decide what the legacy objectives will be and such other objectives that are pertinent to the development of your football and your country. And then you bid for an event that will fit into such legacy aspirations. So you will find that a lot of the training sites that are being proposed are located within educational institutions and such other locations that are very visible and useful to the communities. So in Lagos, we also inspected 2 medical facilities, the St. Nicholas Hospital and the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH. In Benin, we inspected the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, which has also been remodeled, and we visited training sites that are located at the Western Boys High School and the Edo Boys High School and the University of Benin. We also visited the new Edo Specialist Hospital and the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. In Asaba, we visited the Stephen Keshi Stadium, which is a very new stadium and very functional and well modeled to accommodate the requirements of the game today, including the new VAR facilities. And we visited training sites at the squash courts in Asaba, as well as those located in schools and secondary institutions, including the St. Patrick's College, where we intend to use 2 training pitches. In Uyo, we visited the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, perhaps one of the most functional stadiums or stadia in Africa. And it has a ready training site. We also visited facilities in Ikot Epene, including the brand new hotel 4-star by Sheraton in Ikot Epene, as well as their township stadium. We visited one, in my lifetime, perhaps one of the best medical facilities I have seen or inspected on behalf of any organization. The Uyo, it is called the Ubom Specialist Hospital that is not too far away from the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. So in all, we visited about 36 facilities. And of course, there is a little room for sentiment and wishes and so on, but professional teams do professional jobs. So they looked at all the requirements. For example, in any stadium, we need to see and inspect from spaces to facilities about 152 things. Similarly, in medical facilities, we look for about 7 or 8 critical areas: the accident and emergency, the availability of diagnostic facilities like the magnetic resonance imaging and the CT scan, the availability of maxillofacial services, the availability of theaters and ICU, the availability of laboratories and such other facilities, and even relocatable and mobile facilities like the advanced cardiac life support ambulances and so on. So there are very, very specific requirements in each case. Each training set that has been identified is not just the plain surface. We also require changing room facilities. We require floodlights that have to reach a certain brightness between 800 and 1,500 lux, and such other requirements. But I I think what is more interesting, perhaps, or what you are interested in, is whether the facilities we have visited have really qualified or have reached the standard where FIFA needs them to be. Now, this is just the first inspection, and we have the basic facilities, we have the capacity, and I believe that FIFA will confirm that we also have the willingness and the political will and the resources to accomplish the upgrading of all the facilities well ahead of the tournament.
Well, thank you very much, Menasara, for a very elaborate rundown of the facilities that the FIFA team came to inspect in Nigeria. You ticked Edo State as one of the states that you visited, and happily for us, Godwin Dudu Orume is our guest in Benin. We earlier introduced him. Tell us something, Dudu Orume, between now and when the tournament is expected to kick off, or rather when the FIFA will give its final nod. How prepared is Edo State, for instance, to be part of this hosting arrangement if Nigeria gets it?
Well, as you're well aware, Edo State is the host for the next National Sports Festival in 2020. We signed a memorandum with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and since then, Mr. Governor and the Deputy Governor have ensured that all hands are on deck to ensure that we deliver a sports festival unknown to this part of the world before. And so the FIFA visit is only a spice to what we're doing. Long before now, the Godwin Obaseki government had made sports a pillar of its administration and commenced the rebuild and remodeling of the Samuel Ogbamudia Stadium to top quality. I'm sure witnesses will tell you that what they saw was quite amazing. And then, of course, we had plans, and we have already commenced arrangements to build training facilities, mini stadia in all 18 local governments, most of them domiciled in schools, to help the development of sports in Edo State, because the ultimate desire of the government is to make Edo State destination one for sports and sports tourism. So, straight to the point, we are more than ready for hosting of any I say, sports event, football especially, and anything that requires the use of modern sports facilities. And in Edo State, we have quite a huge complement of the support facilities, quality hotels, teaching hospitals, the UBTH, and then, of course, the Edo Specialist Hospital, which is ultra-modern. And then, of course, the road network within Benin and into and going out of Benin presents a special interest to it, makes life quite easy. And then I can assure you on behalf of this government and people of Edo State that come time for FIFA competition in 2020, we're ready, because facilities will be delivered by the constructing firm by the end of October. And we do have test run opportunities. The Edo State Sports Festival is also coming up. In all of this, we'll be able to test the capacity of our facilities to cater for athletes, welfare of officials and all. And as a matter of fact, we're expecting 15,000 athletes and officials for the 2020 Sports Festival. So we are ready and good to go. And also to put on display the very special nature of the people of Edo State, hospitality, the culture, and the thrill that constitutes the heartbeat of the nation, Edo State.
All right, Dudu, we'll return to you much later for further analysis from Edo and your preparedness to host this tournament. And now back to Abuja. Let me bring in Mike Enahoro, who is a sports analyst. So you've listened to other guests, make comments on this inspection by FIFA and, of course, the hopeful hosting of that tournament. Put that into context.
It's an administrative function that needs to happen in a bidding process. You've submitted documents on paper. If I listen to my big brother, Menasser Ailo, over 900 pages about Nigeria and the potential of why we are better than anybody else to host the tournament. I think one of the things that I find in these things is, yes, state governors are involved, and the NFF has done its homework by reaching out to the states that have indicated interest to host. And as Dudu has mentioned, this is supposed to be part of a plan that says that it will culminate in hosting the tournament and end up next year in the National Sports Festival. That's a trend. And every infrastructure that you create, which is a legacy project. I was listening to Menasser mention the legacy project as developmental, where you put practice pitches in schools because you want them to, immediately the tournament is over, those world-class practice pitches, which are FIFA standard, will now translate into better footballers who will use them continuously and hopefully will raise footballers from them. That's the plan. When countries do this, it's part of a developmental plan for the country. Oh, it's our time to be able to build a train track. We are building extra trains going into those particular towns and villages, and we're going to do a transportation network that immediately the tournament is over, our people will benefit from the transportation network. South Africa had the Gautrain, express train that brings you from the airport straight into town. China did a whole town. Built a whole town. Australia, recently from the Commonwealth Games, they did their legacy projects that are part of the developmental projects for the country. And so it's nice that the Vice President is seeing this, but I think this needs to be championed from a Nigeria perspective. 2020 is going to make us 105 years old as a nation. Since we got amalgamated in 1914, we're going to be now going in. If that is what I miss here, I think this is becoming a football, sports, social service type of tournament. It would be great and nice if it is a Nigeria tournament. Looking at this, it would be lovely to see that trains connect us from Lagos to Benin to Asaba to Akwa Ibom. If the train lines can do that, then a lot of Nigerians would be able to move during the tournament. So our legacy projects are interesting enough for me. If that is already in the 900 pages that my big brother and the excellent team of people, Sheyi is also there, somebody I respect a lot. If this is part of that Nigeria gets something back that is tangible, that has infrastructural use for our people, not just the playing pitches that are in secondary schools, which is an amazing idea, by the way, but again, what are the larger impact on our social and economic development as a people? Those are the kinds of things I would love to hear them tell us. I'm really interested to know what the government and the people of Nigeria will benefit as a long-term return on our investment for doing this, if we eventually win.
Well, Mike, thank you very much. You touched on very significant issues, of course, along with the other guests. We know, in terms of infrastructural upgrade, for instance, rail lines are being constructed, but you are likely to get a rail connection from Benin to Asaba, or from Asaba to Uyo in the course of the next 1 year, where this tournament is expected to take place. But of course, those are very important points, as I said, that you have raised. Other issues are equally relevant. But I'm just wondering, Sheyi Akinwumi, Vice President of NFF, what competition is Nigeria up against in trying to host this tournament next year? In other words, where else are we looking up to and say, look, we have to better whatever those other competitors have, so that FIFA says at the end of the day, okay, Nigeria, take and host?
The first thing, the way we're looking at this is we're looking at Nigeria and giving out the Nigerian narrative. It's up to FIFA to look at the competition. For us, what we're looking at is do what we need to do. We've put up a bid document. We know what the requirements are. And we want to reach these requirements and surpass them. Now, it doesn't, as we've seen with FIFA bids all around the world and over the years, what you think is best may not be what they consider best. We need to focus. We don't go to visit other sites in other countries anyway. We visit our sites. We focus on what the bid is requires of us, and we challenge that bid and challenge that standard. And we want to surpass it in every way. I think when we spoke with the FIFA inspectors, they were surprised at our targets. That, you know, we didn't just want to meet up the bid, but surpass them. And I think that is where we focus. We might get distracted if we're beginning to look over our shoulders and looking across borders, because there's no way in any event that we can. Nobody knows what Onicon looks like from China, from India, or whatever it is. What we have to look at is what we're doing here. And, you know, one of the things that Mike raised, it's pertinent, but we need to look at both the tangible and intangible benefits. We have a government who's responsible, and, you know, it was further evidenced by the willingness of the Vice President to receive us yesterday. And he did say that it's an opportunity to do many things or continue some of the things that they were already doing. For example, in line with security, because, of course, if people come to Nigeria, they need to be secure, they need to feel secure. We need to change the narrative about Nigerians that we have across the world. This is an opportunity to do that. I mean, just in how many days the FIFA inspectors came and said they couldn't believe that this is Nigeria they've been hearing about. I think they came with trepidation, but they went back, you know, actually almost reluctantly, because they were enjoying themselves and happy with the people of Nigeria and what they've seen. So, in answer to your question, I think it's important for us to focus on the standards that we want to reach, and that's the way we can achieve whatever it is that we're trying to achieve with this bidding and hosting, hopefully, of this tournament.
Well, Shay, thank you indeed. We've heard earlier today that the other two countries, India and one other country, South Korea, have withdrawn. Therefore, it's as if Nigeria is just left alone in this. And of course, it should be seen as a success already recorded so far. But let me return to Minasara Ilu. Yes, the FIFA inspection, of course, from what you have told us this morning, is going to be positive, you know, from all indications. But let me ask this. Are there other extracurricular areas that FIFA might be interested in? I know we're talking about sports and hosting of sports, but there are other areas that may have link, you know, with sports. One, security. Another is availability of certain facilities that may be required during the tournament, regular water supply, energy, and what have you. Bring us up to speed, you know, with what may be considered as other areas of interest by FIFA.
Thank you very much. Sports events really are used by those who host them to develop facilities and capacities in other areas. I'll give you a few examples. The NTA, where I proudly served for several years, benefited immensely from the hosting of the 10th World Youth Championship in 1999, the All Africa Games in 2003, as well as the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, in updating their facilities and capacities. I give you another example, the Federal Road Safety Corps that I just watched on TV a few minutes before we started our segment of the program, had about 32 or 33 ambulances that were of basic life support capacity. But because of the hosting of the Under-17 World Cup in 2009, we upgraded each and every one of those ambulances to advanced cardiac life support ambulance. I mean, there are almost limitless direct and spin-off benefits that you get. None more important today than the narrative, international narrative on Nigeria, basically very, very negative. And we really require a platform that can tell the international community that there are good things in Nigeria. It is not just about kidnapping or insurgency or such other things that are negative. The FIFA team, before they came, they had this impression that it would perhaps be life-threatening to come and wander about in Nigerian cities and so on. And they asked so many questions, almost to the point of questioning the dignity and capacity of Nigeria to secure its citizens and installations. But when they came, they found a completely different Nigeria from what they knew before they came. And just perhaps I should mention that we also wanted to go to Kaduna, but there was an incident in Kaduna at the ITO Cup finals last Sunday. And before we said anything, FIFA sent us pictures and reports that tear gas was used and so on and so on. And so they had considered Kaduna for this inspection in particular as being insecure and unsafe. And they would therefore want us to remove Kaduna from the list of centers to be inspected this time. And we of course, had no option but to oblige. And that was put off, but that Kaduna should be encouraged to keep developing their facilities until the next time that FIFA will visit. Now, as to the other requirements, now you are required to provide stadia facilities, and in the stadiums you are not only providing the playing surface, you are also providing floodlights, you are also providing medical installations, you are ensuring co-location of facilities by the different client groups, meaning that if you have the VIP section, you have to make your VIP parking consistent with the VIP gate and the VIP tribune and the VIP lounge. Similarly, the press facilities, the media gate has to lead to the media entrance. It also has to lead to the media tribune, and all the facilities required, including internet services, have to be provided. You have to provide a capable and efficient and well-serviced broadcast compound, which has at least 3 layers of power. The city supply, then the generator in the stadium, as well as inverters. The requirements are huge and enormous, but that is not all. You require hotels that have to be configured in certain manner for them to be sports savvy. For example, the rooms have to be configured in such a manner that you have twin beds, because players, whether they are professional or they are amateurs, they share rooms whenever they go to events like this one. Aside from hotels, the road network has to be good, power has to be guaranteed, water supply has to be guaranteed. All services that are associated to living well are integrated in the requirements for hosting a tournament.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Menasara Ilo, there for again the details that you have provided. Let's return to Godwin Dudu Orume in Benin. Dudu Orume, tell us something. It's a bit curious that the states that have been ticked off as potential host sites for the tournament, Lagos, Edo, Delta, and Akwa Ibom, we didn't hear of, shall we say, facilities federally controlled, for instance. National Stadium in Lagos, National Stadium in Abuja, which is now the MKO Abiola Stadium. What is in it for states that are throwing their hearts, as it were, into the ring? You've already indicated that for Edo, okay, you want to make it #1 sports destination. But other than that, what else? Can the state government on its own finance this?
State government can, with a mixture of mezzanine finance strategies, PPP arrangements, sponsorships, and of course, in association with the federal government too. There is a responsibility on the part of the federal government, because the hosting right belongs to Nigeria, and I'm sure that the strategies, the Football Federation have worked all of that out, and they are on the same page with the federal government in terms of what to give and what kind of support to give, because guarantees have to be given by the federal government before FIFA gives a final nod. That said, for the states. It's, in my opinion, a reflection, or should I say, a manifestation of the thoughts of the various chief executives of these states who have made sports their priorities as a means of kickstarting the economy of their states, ensuring friendship relationships, building bridges amongst its communities, and ensuring the sport continues to be the bastion for the development of youth and young adults who, in my opinion, amount to about 70 to 75% of the population of Nigeria today, especially in these states. To keep youths restive, keep them engaged, gainfully engaged, sports is it. And that's why many of these states who have put their hearts in it are states that have had tremendous impact in sports in Nigeria, the development of the athletes, and they drive towards making sports contribute towards the GDP of the state and then in the country. So it's an investment which the governments of the 4 different states, in my opinion, have worked out ways of ensuring that these games deliver seamlessly, provides answers to many of the problems surrounding place, economy, development, and training of the mind, and of course, unity, fostering unity amongst these people.
Okay, Dudu, thank you very much indeed. Now back to Abuja. Nahoro, you see, you have listened again to the comments by our guests. These are directly involved sportsmen, you know, who have great experience over the years in this event, even beyond this event, so to speak. They have been in sports for a very long time. You know, Menesara, for instance. We've raised the issue of other areas apart from, you know, sports, water facilities, you know, and the regular supply of water and all, and other logistics that may be involved, especially transportation, when the tournament commences. Yes. What are your comments?
Look, I will tell you one of the things that I see. The Nigerian visa to Nigeria is not an easy thing to deal with. It's quite pricey. It's about $150, $180 per visa. This is one way Nigeria could open itself for tourism, with the NTDC working with the LOC, working with the immigrations, working with the NFF to understand and say, people are going to fly into this tournament from 3 international airports: Enugu, Abuja, and Lagos. So why don't we begin to look at visa on arrival at standard, which is about $50, which is done in most countries at $50, so that we can use that to encourage tourism towards Nigeria. That's one key area. The NTDC should be able, and the NOA, which is the orientation agency, should begin, if I hear Nasara correctly, the projection. There should be ads running for Nigerians to begin to look at and look forward to this event. Ads should be running on most Nigerian and radio TV jingles, should tell us exactly what is going on. Because this is a sensitization point if we're using it as a branding for Nigeria. It has to be a government, central government controlled strategy to say, we are looking to bid for that. FIFA, if they could get pictures of what happened in the Ethio Cup, they can also get the jingles that we play to our people to encourage sponsors to look forward to that. So if we don't have a holistic, global Nigeria strategy to support the work that these gentlemen are doing in their various niches and in their various committees, then again, it's just going to be a football thing. And it will start and end as a football thing. This is supposed to engender that Nigerians in Kaduna will fly to Lagos to go and watch a match. How many planes do we have in the country? How many planes that are active from all the airlines do we have in the country to be able to go? Planes and flights now are 30,000 and 40,000 above. It's not affordable for a lot of people who would want to fly. Again, so these are all the areas I would think that we would want to focus on if the intent is to brand Nigeria at the end of the day. So we need to look at all of these so that Nigerians will be the ones benefiting from the return on investment.
Yeah, Mike, very important points again that you have raised. with regard to leveraging on the opportunity to host the tournament next year, to have a pan-Nigerian disposition, as well as ensuring that it isn't just a football event, but that it's an event that helps to mobilize the rest of the other sectors of the economy. It's on that note, we'd like to thank all our guests who've been with us on the conversation this morning. Mike Enahoro here with us in the Abuja studios. Always a delight having you, sports analyst.
It's a pleasure. Good morning, Nigeria.
From our Lagos Network studios, we were joined by Seyi Akinwumi, Vice President of the Nigerian Football Federation. Thank you for being with us. Good morning, Nigeria. And our own Menasara Ilo, of course, former and an alumnus of the NTA, who is FIFA consultant, as well as the chair of the bid committee for Nigeria to host the Under-20 Women's World Cup next year. Menasara Ilo, thanks a lot for being around. And for Benin, we were joined by the chairman of the Edo State Sports Commission, Godwin Dudu Oruma, himself, of course, a sports enthusiast and also a lawyer. Thank you for being with us on Good Morning Nigeria today. All right, so that does it for our second topic for discussion on the program. Let's go over to